Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachare Yamunatira Vanachare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhare Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhare Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachare Yamunatira Vanachare Yamunatira Vanachare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayo Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Shri Radhe. Jayo Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Shri Radhe. Radha Madhava ki Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtotarhadashi Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtotarhadashi Goswami Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhaktavrinda ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Yama Kunna Radha Kunna Giri Govardhan ki Jai. Shri Shri Prahlad Lakshmi Narasimha Bhagavan ki Jai. Grandaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Caitanya-caritāmṛta ki Jai. Nitya Gaur Premanande Hari Gaur Samaveta Bhaktavrinda ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Putale Srimati Bhakti Pujana Swami Niti Namani Prabhupada Susamaya Sarvata Padaya Hare Krishna Shakti Krishna Shri Namaste. Pasvan yatashma sakaleshu nicheshu techa Bhasvan yatashma sakaleshu nicheshu techa Sviyam kiyat prakatayat yapitat vat atra Brahmaya esha jagad anda vidhana karta Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Pasvan yatashma sakaleshu nicheshu techa. Sviyam kiyat prakatayat yapitat vad atra. Pramaya esha jagad anda Caitanya-caritāmṛta. Govindamadi purusha tamaham bhajami. Govindamadi purusha tamaham bhajami. Pasvan yatashma sakaleshu nicheshu techa. Sviyam kiyat prakatayati apitatvat atra. Pramaya esha jagad anda Caitanya-caritāmṛta. Govindam adi purusham tamaham bhajami. Pasvan yatashma sakaleshu nicheshu techa. Smayam ziyat prakatayati apitatvat atra. Pramaya esha jagad anda Caitanya-caritāmṛta. Govindam adi purusham. Ladies, Mataji's. Pasvan yatashma sakaleshu nicheshu techa. Svayam kiyat prakatayat yapitatvat atra. Pramaya esha jagad anda Caitanya-caritāmṛta. Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. One more. Pasvanatashma sakaleshu nicheshu techa. Sviyam kiyat prakatayati apitatvat atra. Pramaya esha jagad anda Caitanya-caritāmṛta. Govindam adi purusham tamaham bhajami. Pasvan, the illuminating sun, yatha, as, ashma sakaleshu, in various types of precious stones. Nicheshu, his own. Tejaha, brilliance. Sviyam, his own. Kiyat, to some extent. Prakatayati, manifests. Api, also. Tadvat, similarly. Atra, here. Brahma, Lord Brahma. Yaha, who is. Eshaha, the Lord. Jagat Andavidhana-karta, becomes the chief of the universe. Govindam Adi Purusham, Lord Govinda, the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. Tam, him. Aham, I. Bhajami, worship. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The sun manifests his brilliance in a gem, although it is stone. Similarly, the original personality of Godhead, Govinda, manifests his special power in a pious living entity. Thus the living entity becomes Brahma and manages the affairs of the universe. Let me worship Govinda, the original personality of Godhead. Purport. This is a quotation from the Brahma Samhita 549. We also read the next verse. Kona kalpeyadi yogya chiva nahi paya apane ishvara tabe angshe brahmahaya. If in a kalpa a suitable living entity is not available to take charge of Brahma's post, the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself personally expands and becomes Lord Brahma. Purport. One day of Brahma consists of the 4 yugas, multiplied 1,000 times, or, according to solar calculations, 4 million, is it in English also? 4 billion 320 million years. And such also is the duration of his night. 1 year of Brahma's life consists of 360 such days and nights, and Brahma lives for 100 such years. Such is the life of a Brahma. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Gyananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Caitanya-manophishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapatandikam Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Kona kalpeyadi yogya chiva nahi paya apane ishvara tabe angshe brahmahaya. If in a kalpa a suitable living entity is not available to take charge of Brahma's post, the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself personally expands and becomes Lord Brahma. First of all, I offer my respectful obeisances to His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who mercifully translated this masterpiece, Caitanya-caritāmṛta, and ask all the Vaishnavas for the blessings so that I can speak a little bit on this topic that is coming up here in this part of Caitanya-caritāmṛta. The topic which is coming up here are the different types of avatars, or as we say in our language, incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lila avatars were described just recently, and now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu describes to Sanatana Goswami the Guna avatars, and they are, you can count them on the fingers, different than the others, because they are three. And the concept of the gunas, or the modes of material nature, is actually at the beginning a new philosophical concept, and difficult to understand, realize, or see, and pretty, explained in detail in the Bhagavad Gita, in form of many examples that Krishna is giving. But here we have a very, so to say, simple description of this philosophical concept of the three modes of material nature, and it is that everything that exists in this material world is under the influence of three stages. It is being created, it is being maintained, and sometime it will be destroyed. There will be destruction. So creation, maintenance, and destruction. And this is maybe most probably the simplest explanation or way of understanding this philosophical concept of this fact that Krishna is giving us in the Bhagavad Gita in form of the three modes of material nature. We have creation, we have maintenance, we have destruction, we have goodness, we have passion, and we have ignorance. And not difficult for us to guess without looking and researching in the Vedic scriptures who is meant with these avatars. You can tell me who are the avatars we are here now speaking about? Brahma. Brahma stands for? About the modes, what kind of mode is Brahma influenced? Passion, Rajaguna. Yes, exactly. Then we have who else? Brahma. Who are the other two? Vishnu, very good. Yes, Vishnu is mode of? Is he in ignorance or is he in? Shishi Pranat Lakshmi Singh Bhagavan Ki. Ja. We have a German translation there in the back. Oh yes. Wir haben eine deutsche Übersetzung hier in der Bank. So Vishnu represents mode of goodness. And then we have usually our topic in the Srimad Bhagavatam class, in this section where we are now. Who are we talking about a lot in the Srimad Bhagavatam class? Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva, and he represents the mode of ignorance, because when it's time that the universe gets destroyed, then it's time for Shiva to dance. And when he's dancing, then a little bit more is happening. So, but until then we have still some time. Mercifully, how Krishna is, he gives us the opportunity in the material world. He creates the material world, and or better to say, Brahma creates the material world. And for us to use this opportunity to understand him, to understand Vishnu, to understand Krishna, to understand the transcendental world, the transcendental platform, in order that we can also achieve the goal of life, we can achieve Vishnu, attain Krishna's abode, the spiritual world, which is free from this influence of passion, passion, goodness, and ignorance. There is Shuddha Sattva, pure goodness, and therefore Krishna himself does not have anything to do with this so-called, so to say, impurity or contamination of the material world. But when Garbhodakashaya Vishnu comes in contact with matter, then often we hear, then there is Shiva. That is Shiva. So Shiva is a little bit in contact with matter. Vishnu, Krishna, has actually nothing to do with the material world. Absolutely nothing. Not even looks at it, so to say. But when he comes in contact, then we hear of that is Shiva. But here also, Srila Prabhupada explains in one purport, actually it's three. He becomes Vishnu, he becomes Brahma, and he becomes Shiva. So in this way, Brahma is very special because he is especially empowered by Krishna. And we hear here, interesting enough, that happens when a living entity is qualified enough to get empowered by Krishna in such a way. It's not happening like accidentally. You have congratulations, you have won in the lotto, now you can become Brahma. So lucky you are. No, you have to be qualified. But when there is no living entity, and especially not only living entity, it is said when there is no devotee. So Brahma also is a devotee, of course, of Krishna. And there is no devotee who is qualified enough to become empowered by Krishna to become Brahma and do this amazing service of creating. Brahma is the one who is creating. Then what will Krishna then do? No one is there to do the work that has to be done. What does Krishna do? He becomes Brahma himself. Then he takes the post of Brahma. And I would like to use this opportunity because actually the verse that we are hearing today is a verse from the Brahma Samhita. And the Brahma Samhita is, I would say, in my spiritual life, one of these books that gave me a very, even when I started my spiritual life, I don't know how long you were practicing Krishna consciousness or when you started to chant and read about transcendental topics, which is quite new for us and something new. But this Brahma Samhita was one of these books that really left an intense spiritual impression in me. For me, when I first opened, I can exactly remember when I ordered Brahma Samhita in English by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and I was sitting at home in the balcony where I always sat and read Prabhupada's books, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. And when I first got the Brahma Samhita and I opened it and I read the first few lines, it was like a spiritual flash. You know, it was so obvious that this is not mundane literature. Although the English is so difficult and special that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is writing, but the power, the Shakti of this book immediately came, and I realized this is not a usual literature. This literature is not from this world. It's from another world. So it's very powerful, and therefore I would like to use this wonderful opportunity to read this pretty small purport by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur in his book, or in Brahma's book, which Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur mercifully translated, so that we can also hear the prayers of Brahma. It is verse 49. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, from whom the separated subjective portion, Brahma, receives his power for the regulation of the mundane world, just as the sun manifests some portion of his own light in all the effulgent gems that bear the names of Surya, Kanta, etc. So a stone is just a stone, A living entity, a spirit soul is spirit soul, a living entity. But when Krishna gives special empowerment, this usual stone, dark, blackish, whatever, not living, boring, just lying around, becomes effulgent and shining like a diamond. Very special. So and similarly, when Krishna empowers a living entity in a special way, he becomes Brahma, the highest living entity in the material world. That is the message we get here from this verse of Brahma Samhita. Now Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is commenting. Brahma is two types. In certain kalpas, when the potency of the Supreme Lord infuses himself in an eligible jiva, the latter acts in an office of Brahma and creates the universe. In those kalpas, when no eligible jiva is available, after the Brahma of the previous kalpa is liberated, Krishna, by the process of allotment of his own potency, creates the Brahma who has the nature of the avatara, descent of the divinity in the active mundane principle Raja Guna, passion. By principle, Brahma is superior to ordinary jivas, but is not the direct divinity. The divine nature is present in a greater measure in Shambhu than in Brahma. The fundamental significance of the above is that the aggregate of 50 attributes belong to the jiva, are present in a fuller measure in Brahma, who possesses in a lesser degree 5 more attributes which are not found in jivas. But in Shambhu, both the 50 attributes of jivas is also the 5 additional attributes found in Brahma are present in even greater measure than in Brahma. So I think everyone understood what it is about. Very simple English, so no problem. What is explained here is that Brahma is a usual jiva and has, as all other jivas, us included, 50 qualities. But Brahma has these 50 qualities in a bigger extent. That is a big difference between Brahma and us. But apart from this, there are 5 more qualities that Brahma has and we do not have. But even these 5 qualities, Brahma has relatively in a small portion related to Shambhu. So Shambhu is even on a higher platform than Brahma, although both have 5 qualities which we do not possess. So we may be curious today about these special 5 qualities that Brahma has and we not have. And we get an explanation about this in this amazing literature called Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which we read every morning. And we are around now. In the morning we heard quality number. Anyone remembers what number of quality we heard today in the morning? Anyone remembers a little bit about what we heard today in the morning of the nectar of devotion? Not something, at least? Huh? Very attractive to all women. Wow, thank you very much. You got it. Krishna is very attractive to all women. Quality number 46. So, but before we had all this list of qualities. There is a nice introduction, and there we get a description of the 50 qualities that Brahma and we have, and the 5 qualities that Brahma has additional. And it comes from Padma Purana. So besides these 50 qualities, there are other transcendental qualities which are described by Lord Shiva to Parvati in the Padma Purana and in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam in connection with or conversation between the deity of the earth and the king of religion, Yamaraja. It is said therein, persons who are desirous of becoming great personalities must be decorated with the following qualities: truthfulness, cleanliness, mercy, perseverance, renunciation, peacefulness, simplicity, control of the senses, equilibrium of the mind, austerity, equality, forbearance, placidity, learning, knowledge, detachment, opulence, chivalry, influence, strength, memory, independence, tactfulness, luster, patience, kind-heartedness, ingenuity, gentility, mannerliness, determination, perfection in all knowledge, proper execution, possession of all objects of enjoyment, gravity, steadiness, faithfulness, fame, respectfulness, and lack of false egotism. If you want to become a great soul, just in case, if you have on your plan you want to become a great soul, maybe in this life or sometime, it's on your schedule, you know, my goal of life, I want to become a great soul. Persons who are desiring to become great souls cannot be without any of the above qualities. So we can know for certain that these qualities are found in Lord Krishna, the Supreme Soul. Besides all of the above mentioned 50 qualities, Lord Krishna possesses 5 more, which are sometimes partially manifested in the persons of Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. This we have here from the Brahma Samhita. What are these 5 qualities? These transcendental qualities are as follows. 51, changeless. 52, all cognizant. 53, ever fresh. 54, Satchit Ananda, possessing an eternal blissful body. And 55, possessing all mystic perfections. So possessing all mystic perfections, we know that Krishna is known as Yogeshvara. He is the topmost yogi. Yogis, they possess amazing power, and all these things are actually material. All the things they can do, 8 mystic powers we found described in the Vedic scriptures. You can become smaller than the smallest. Srila Prabhupada explains, if you lock in a yogi in a room which is completely closed, he can make himself so small that he can come out of this room underneath the small line underneath the door. That is one of his powers. And small yogis can also become greater than bigger than the biggest. And one mystic powers, Srila Prabhupada is fascinatingly enough comparing with what we see nowadays a lot, which is going on there outside when a lot of building work is being done. For example, we are sometimes going to Linz to do kirtan, to do book distribution. As a few days ago we went with His Grace Navina Prabhu into Linz. And when you drive to Linz, you drive along a river. Long time you drive along a river. And then when you come near the city, you see a huge thing going on, you know. Metal strings from one mountain to the other mountain across the river, and huge holes in the mountain, you know. It looks like a highway will be built into the mountain, and that is what they are doing. They are building streets in the mountain and bridges across the river. And Srila Prabhupada actually explains that this is just one of the mystic powers of the yogis. Because yogis, they can enter into stone. And what the scientists did in this way is nothing else than discover one of the yogic mystical powers. So it's very interesting. And we have 5 more, of course. really fascinating. You can a yogi can create a whole planet, just like this, and he can manipulate people from a distance. Just if you live in, where do you come from? Bulgaria. All of you coming from like Bulgaria? No. No. Where are you coming from?
All around Europe.
All around Europe?
So
Germany,
Poland,
Latvia, Slovenia, Spain even. Ah, you're from Spain. Ah, nice. So if you're a yogic can, for example, if you are living at home in Spain, through his mystic power, he can create havoc on you. He doesn't even have to see you. He can manipulate you. So these are the powers of big yogis. But Krishna is known as the Yogeshwara. He is the greatest yogi. He has all these mystic powers, and to such an extent that no one can surpass or can come near him. And the example is giving, as we heard in the morning, that Krishna is attractive to all women. He had 16,108 wives, and he expanded himself into 16,108 Krishnas, so to say. And every expansion of Krishna did something different with all of his wives. The one Krishna was taking rest, and his wife would fan him. The other Krishna would play with his children. The other Krishna will talk and have a philosophical discussion with his wife. So every of the 16,000 Krishnas did something different with his wives. A yogi can maximum expand himself into, I think, 9 or 10 or 8, 9, 10 persons. Like, what's your name? Vijay. So if you become a master in this discipline, you can expand yourself into 8 or 9 Vijays. But would be amazing. Then just imagine all the others would also do that. We fill the temple room very soon. Jai, more and more devotees here. Hare Krishna. But the problem would be that all these Vijays would do the same thing. So that is the yogic power of a usual yogi, but Krishna did a lot more, 16,000 times, and everyone individually was acting with his wives. So Narada Muni was very astonished about this, and he had to watch it. He came and looked in all the palaces. In every palace he looked, what is Krishna doing here? What is Krishna doing there? It's amazing. He was astonished about Krishna's qualities. So that is 55, possessing all mystic perfections. And all cognizant or like all knowing. We have the example given of Draupadi. Draupadi and the Pandavas once were tested and brought into trouble and problems. I'm sure that you all experienced in your life sometime trouble or problem where you couldn't other than pray to the Lord. How do you say in German? In Schützengraben gibt es keine Atheisten. When we are in trouble and in problems, then we become very humble and we become God conscious very easily. And we start praying. So Draupadi and the Pandavas came in a very troublesome and problematic situation because Draupadi had a very amazing plate, got as a gift from the sun god. And the power of this plate, Akshaya-patra it is called, was that it could produce any amount of food. If we today receive 200,000 volunteers knocking at the door at 11 a.m. and they said, hello, we just heard about you, Simhachalam, and thought we'd just come by. We are 200,000 people here and we are a little bit hungry. Can you offer us some nice prasadam? If you have this Akshaya-patra, this plate that Draupadi had, no problem. Unlimited amount of food will be produced by the plate until Draupadi herself will eat. then for that day, no food anymore. Eating is done. Yeah. So there was the cruel Duryodhana, and he somehow or other pacified Durvasa Muni, a great rishi. And Durvasa Muni offered him a blessing. What can I do for you? Tell me. And Duryodhana thought, I have a blessing free from a rishi. What shall I use it for? I shall use it for to bring my enemies into trouble and problematic situations. And who were the enemies of Duryodhana? Of course, the Pandavas and Draupadi. So he told him, yes, please, my dear sage Durvasa Muni, please today go to my friends, the Pandavas and Draupadi, and visit them with all your disciples, which were no less than 10,000. So Durvasa Muni went after lunchtime to Draupadi and the Pandavas when Draupadi already ate. So at that day, no food anymore from the mystical plate. And there were 10,000 people led by a great rishi who could curse you very easily, and they didn't know how to give them food. So meanwhile, they were just asked, can you just wait a little bit, we will prepare everything for you, but it's now noontime, please go to the river, to the holy Ganges, and take your bath and recite the holy mantras. And when you will come back, we will have all the food to serve you. So Durvasa Muni appeared at the door of Draupadi and the Pandavas and just left for a while, not long, to go to the river, take bath and recite their mantras, and then they will come back with 10,000 people. And where will they get the food for? They didn't know, but Krishna knew. Therefore he is called all-cognizant, all-knowing. He knew what's going on, and therefore he knocked at the door of the Pandavas and Draupadi and asked for a little bit which is left from the pots. Just a small piece of carrot, small piece of zucchini, small piece of pumpkin, whatever may be left in the pot. Please give this to me. So Draupadi was looking at the pots, something was left, a little piece of vegetable, sabji, and Krishna took it, and he was pleased and satisfied by this small amount of food. And because Krishna was pleased and satisfied, all the sages and Durvasa Muni, while they were standing in the river, suddenly felt such a satisfaction. They couldn't imagine anymore to eat anything anymore. They were so say in English, satiated, satiated. Yeah. And then it came time when they should go to Draupadi and the Pandavas, and they were welcomed, and they had such a bad feeling because they thought there will be a huge feast and they are not able to eat anything. So what did they do? Instead of becoming in a troublesome situation themselves, they just thought, let's get away from here. Yeah. So they left, and Draupadi and the Pandavas were saved from the difficult situation and saved from a big curse of Durvasa Muni. Therefore Krishna is all-knowing. And except from this, also Krishna is ever fresh, and everything which is connected with Krishna is ever fresh. For example, if someday you are fortunate enough, if you were not yet, to go to Vrindavan, you will make a parikram, and then there you will see, this tree is the tree where Krishna was jumping on it and fighting with Kaliya, and because he touched it with his lotus feet, still it is in bloom. Because Krishna is ever fresh, and he touched the tree is still there and doing nicely. So Krishna is ever fresh, Krishna is pure, Krishna never gets old, Krishna never gets boring, Krishna gets never whatever we experience in the material world in the process of rotting, that's not applied to Krishna. Krishna is ever fresh. So the example giving in this connection is the example of the Lakshmis, the goddesses of fortune. We know that the goddesses of fortune are very well known to be chanchala, unsteady, going from here, going to there, looking here, looking there, never can be at one place, must go here, must go there. Therefore, if you have a lucky phase or period in your life, money is coming from somewhere, friends are coming from everywhere, everything is a wonderful, wonderful life, everything is there. I cannot imagine all this luck coming to me, but at a certain moment, all this will stop. And suddenly, the material problems, they come back. The luck has left you. Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, has left you because she cannot be at one place long. She is unsteady, chanchala. And although she is chanchala and unsteady, she cannot be separated from Krishna. Krishna is so attractive and ever fresh that the goddess of fortune, although she is moving a lot, from here to there, she never goes away from Krishna, always stays with Krishna. So therefore those who are worshipping Lakshmi without Krishna or without Vishnu for the purpose of gaining material opulences, which on an intellectual or a logical platform does make sense, is on a higher platform with spiritual understanding completely nonsense. Never worship Shri or Lakshmi without Krishna. Be intelligent and worship Krishna, and the goddess of fortune or Lakshmi will automatically be with you. Because when you start thinking, if I ever get money, if I ever will become rich, I will use all this for Krishna. I will build a temple, I will buy a Sankirtan van, I will buy books, I will buy boga, so much boga, and offer everything to Krishna and distribute freely. If this tendency is there and awakened in you, very honestly, by hearing the philosophy of Krishna consciousness from the lotus mouth of a pure devotee, as Srila Prabhupada, and by reading especially his books, and if you get this understanding, then you will experience in your life, suddenly all these things are coming. Money is coming, houses are coming, cars are coming, this is coming, everything is coming, because Lakshmi is there. And now you have the wonderful and golden opportunity to use it in Krishna's service, to please Krishna with it, to serve Krishna with that. And the amount we could get for this is unlimited. Unlimited. Therefore, we are asked in our spiritual life to think big. Don't be like a miser. In a material world, we have this experience that you have to spend, and you have to spare everything, and you have to look everywhere, not spending too much, all these things. But for Krishna, we don't have to do this. For Krishna, always the best. For Krishna, always more and more. And if we need more and more and more, Lakshmi will be there and will, if she likes, give us whatever we need to serve Krishna. But if we stop this process of Krishna consciousness and think, oh, Krishna, it's enough, now it's for me, I will use it for me, then she will become again in chanchala. Moving from here, moving from there, suddenly she's not there anymore. No more Lakshmi. So therefore, stay in Krishna consciousness, worship Krishna, be fixed in your determination that the highest goal of life is to become Krishna conscious and love Krishna, and you will see everything you need will be there. And chanchala is this word that we also know very, very well from the Bhagavad Gita. Yato nishchalatam manas chanchalam astiram tatas tato niyam yaitat manasi eva vasham. Something. A very famous verse, chapter 6, verse number 26. Wherever your mind wanders because of its unsteady nature, you should bring him back and bring him under the control of the self. So this quality that Sri or Lakshmi is famous for, glorified for, and wonderful for, that she is unsteady, chanchala, This quality we experience in the material world exactly with our mind. Going from here, going to there, going there again, although already experienced terrible things, again going there, troublesome mind, unsteady mind. Therefore Krishna advises us, the mind is a rascal. The mind is your only enemy. Because he tells you again, go here, go there, there is something to catch, there is something to get. There is nothing to get. Nothing to get in the material world, no matter where you go, no matter what you try. But you can try it again and again and again, become frustrated, It hurts. And this, again and again, get born again and being hurted and being frustrated by trying to become happy in this way, trying to become ecstatic in this way, that should be stopped in the human form of life. Therefore, in the human form of life, control the mind. Control the mind by the practice of yoga. Control the mind by bringing it back into the self, not giving free room for sense gratification to a seemingly unlimited extent. Greed has to be controlled. Greed should not increase. Greed is big enemy. So, and therefore, it is a serious thing that our mind is our enemy. Can bring us away from Krishna, can bring us away from our glorious spiritual position as servants of Krishna. And then there is suffering, then there is rotting in the material world. It's a really fallen condition, Not being aware of your beauty, your divinity as a servant of Krishna. And to see this hurts in the heart of a great devotee, because he sees that all of you actually are meant to be glorious, divine, and happy and ecstatic in Krishna's service. Constantly, every moment, until for time, unlimited time, for eternity. That is your real life. And that life you could have right now. Here and now is your spiritual life. But instead of this, you decided to rot and work hard like an animal for something which is not better than stool. This is really terrible. This is really heartbreaking. This makes a devotee cry. And therefore he decides, I cannot tolerate this pain and suffering of these fallen conditioned souls rotting in the material world. Let me go to them and tell them, you are a servant of Krishna. Chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And realize who you really are and be happy on a real platform, on a spiritual platform. And therefore spiritual teachers or gurus are preaching very strongly. Your mind is a rascal. You think this is correct, it's not correct, you're a rascal. So therefore, kick your mind in the morning when you get up 100 times with the boot, and in the evening before you go to sleep, kick it again 100 times with a stick. The foolish mind, kick him 100 times. So that sounds very brutal, sounds very crucial, sounds very intense. But these are the words of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the author or the translator of Brahma Samhita. And today we would like to end this lecture with a practical way of how to do this. How to kick 100 times your mind with boots and with a stick in the morning when you get up and in the evening before you go to sleep. Because a very good way and a perfect way how to do it is, as Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur also explained, to sing a very, very nice song, which is referred to great personalities that are are described in the Caitanya-caritāmṛta. And today actually we are hearing from the Caitanya-caritāmṛta. So I request you all, dear devotees, please be so kind Nowadays we are not asking anymore to take the songbooks. We ask, please take your mobile phones and open the app of Vaishnava songs. I hope the majority of you has a mobile phone here. If not, please share it with others. And please open the app, the Vaishnava songs. And please look for the song which is called Bhaja Re. Bhaja and then Re. The song is called Bhaja Re Amar by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And I would like to sing with you this song and give you maybe as a practice in your sadhana to control the mind, to bring the mind back to remember. Remember, remember, remember. This word we will hear often in this song, smaram. Smara, remember. And who we should remember? The great personalities that are described in Caitanya-caritāmṛta, associates of Lord Chaitanya, great devotees who helped him in his mission, and also we should remember his followers. Srila Prabhupada, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, all these great devotees we should remember, and the translation goes as follows. We are talking to our mind. Dear mind, how foolish you are. Just worship the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna in the forests of Vraj. Oh, without such worship, there is no means of spiritual advancement. Just worship the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna in the forests of Vraj. Oh, giving up all speculative knowledge and materialistic activities. Just worship Gaura, Gadadhara, Advaita, and Lord Nityananda, the original spiritual master. O knowing Lord Gaura and Lord Krishna to be the same. O knowing the spiritual master to be very dear to Krishna. Just remember the dear associates of Lord Chaitanya, namely Srivas Thakur, Haridas Thakur, Murari Gupta, and Mukunda Datta. O in deep love for Lord Gaura, you should remember, just remember the two great personalities, Srivas Thakur and Haridas Thakur. Just remember Srila Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Jiva, and the two Raghunathas. Oh, if you are engaged in worshipping Lord Krishna, just remember the two great souls, Sri Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami. Just remember Raghava Pandita, Gopalapada Goswami, Swarup Damodar Goswami, and Ramananda Rai. Oh, if you really seek love of Krishna, just remember Swarup Damodar Goswami and Ramananda Rai. Just remember Srila Kavi-Karnapurna and all his family members, especially his father, Shivananda Sena. Oh, always remember Sri Kavi-Karnapurna and his family. Just remember all the sadhus who follow the path of Sri Rupa Goswami and who are absorbed in the ecstasy of bhajan. Oh, if you actually want residence in the land of Vraja, just remember the sadhus who are followers of Srila Rupa Goswami. Bhajare Amar Manati Manda Bhajare Amar Manati Manda Bhajan vina gati naire, Bhajan vina gati naire, Bhaja vraja bane Radha Krishna Charana Ravinda Bhaja Vraja Bane Radha Krishna Charanaravinda Bhaja Vraja Bane Radha Krishna Charanaravinda Bhaja Vraja Bane Radha Krishna Charanaravinda Jnana Karma Pariharire Jnana Karma Pariharire Bhaja Vrajabane Radha Krishna Bhaja Vrajabane Radha Krishna Bhaja Gora Gadadhara Dvaita Guru Nityananda Bhaja Gora Krishnaya Pedachenere Guru Krishna Preshta Chenere Smara Srinivas Haridas Murari Mukunda Smara Srinivas Haridas Murari Mukunda Gora Preme Smara Smarare Gora Preme Smara Smarare Smara Srinivas Haridase Smara Rupa Sanatana Jiva Raghunatha Dvandva Krishna Bhajan Chadi Korbere Rupa Sanatane Smara Smara Raghava Gopala Bhatta Svarupa Ramananda Smara Raghava Gopala Bhatta Svarupa Ramananda Krishna prema chadi chaore Svarup Ramanande smara Svarup Ramanande smara Smara Goshti Saha Karnapura Sena Shivananda Smara Goshti Saha Karnapura Sena Shivananda Achasra smara smara re Achasra smara smara re Goshti saha karnapure Smara rupanuga sadhu jana bhajana nanda Smara rupanuga sadhu jana bhajana nanda Vrache paschadi chaore Vrache paschadi chaore Rupanuga sadhu smara Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Unless anyone has any question, I wish you a wonderful day. Or anyone has any question?
So this is how actually we have to be.
Yes, with this song. Yes. This statement in Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's biography, written by His Holiness Bhakti Vikash Swami. There, this described that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur advises the mind is a rascal, beat him 100 times, kick him 100 times in the morning and afternoon. This song is very suitable for this.
So we have to sing this song 100 times?
You can do that. If you have such a rascal mind, yes, no limit, no limit. Yeah, it will take some time, but it sounds like a good improvement of your sadhana. But at least you can start with once in the morning, maybe for Mangalarati. It's very nice, and yeah, it's advised. Okay. And thank you very much. I wish you all a good time here in Simhachalam because you came yesterday. And yeah, have a good spiritual sadhana here, and improvement, and experiences on Krishna consciousness. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Caitanya-caritāmṛta ki jai. Jai Go Premanande Hari Hari Bo.